Welcome to another edition of Eye on the Issues. Today we're talking education in the state of Wyoming. Joining me now is Jenny Schucker. She is part of the educational, I guess, community of Wyoming. Jenny, we last
hmm
time we spoke, you were starting the Academy of the Winds, a Montessori school. Is that correct?
Correct. Yes.
And tell us about, first of all, let's begin with how is the school going?
We've seen tremendous growth over the last several years. We started as a pre-K in 2019, and now we are all the way through eighth grade. We opened up our middle school room last year. So it's been tremendous growth and really, really positive things happening here.
And so people that are not familiar with your school, where are you located?
We are located in Lander, Wyoming. We actually have 7.5 acres inside the city limits here.
Very nice. Very nice. So in terms of starting the school and getting it to clearly you've made a lot of progress. What would you say has been let's begin by saying what has been the most challenging portion of that?
Originally, the most challenging portion was in a small community, grabbing enough people to make this happen. I found, though, that people are seeking an alternative education source for their kids in droves. That's evidenced by so many kids leaving the public school system at this point. And they're flocking and searching for something different. COVID actually really, really helped my school, oddly enough, where it shut down most of the other schools. We grew threefold that year and opened up 3 new classrooms that year. So I think navigating that landscape has been the hardest thing. Currently, the hardest thing right now is navigating the ESA not going through and how many people have been reliant on that.
And speaking of ESA, okay, the educational savings accounts there in Wyoming,
Yeah.
that's been a judicial stop on that. So where does that stand?
So currently that stands as all funds are being frozen. So there is no distribution of any ESA funds for this foreseeable future. Megan Degenfelder, the superintendent of public instruction, did get with the Wyoming Attorney General, and they are appealing the decision. So now it will be left up to the Supreme Court in Wyoming.
And do we have any idea what kind of time frame we're looking at for that?
We have no idea. All of us are in this giant state of limbo. In her email that she sent out yesterday, I believe it was, she said that this could take months or it could take years. Nobody really knows.
Now, initially, prior to this roadblock, I guess you call it,
Mhm.
the money was supposed to be released very soon, wasn't it?
Yes, that is the most critical piece to all of this. All of our private schools kind of operate on a similar schedule. So we do enrollment in the spring. In the springtime, of course, that bill was passed. Everybody was preparing to have these ESA funds. So we based all of our budgets and our enrollment based off of people, thinking that those funds were going to be distributed on July 1st. The WEA decided 2 weeks before the funds were distributed to file their injunction. And the weekend before the funds were distributed, that's when the judge decided that he was going to do a preliminary injunction and give himself 2 weeks to figure out how he really felt about it, I guess. And then just yesterday, or not yesterday, but on Monday, he came out and completely said no, no funds will be distributed.
So, what are you thinking right now, knowing the school year's coming up? You were expecting some money. I would imagine there's a number of students that were probably relying on that money. First of all, how much money is that per student, and what are you thinking right now?
So the ESA was going to grant 7,000 per student for per eligible family. Um, Currently, it has really, really caused a very, very tumultuous situation here at my school. I'm not sure about other private schools, but we're paddling to keep above water. Currently, I have lost 13 kids from my school, which is a total of 132,000 revenue loss. So it is catastrophic, but not only that, the emotional piece of this for those kids who, were in the system for their whole educational career, and these families who are lower income families who this wasn't a possibility for them a year ago. were absolutely counting on this money to come through. And now their only choice is to send their kids back to a system that wasn't working for them in the first place. It is, they're running this lawsuit off of that private schools can unfairly discriminate against kids. And I am seeing the opposite. The harm that is being done right now is absolutely heartbreaking.
From a public opinion standpoint, what's the sense you're hearing out there? Because obviously you've got the Wyoming Education Association pushing back against this, but this is
Mhm.
I would think, a benefit for many families.
Oh, it is. It is. I think that the Wyoming Education Association is more for the policies and the money going into the public school system. If this was about children and what is best for children, this absolutely would not have happened. It is very unfortunate that the WEA is so connected to the NEA, which has very deep pockets and a lot of weight being thrown around right now for Wyoming and blocking this ESA fund.
And would you say this issue is getting as much attention as it needs right now? Have you heard the governor speak out on this? And this is a big deal for families.
This is a huge deal. The last time that I heard, we were over 4,000 families strong applying for ESA funds. Dagenfelder even opened up the portal again for more families. And so I assume that we are way above that. So we're talking about a significant impact to Wyoming families around the state. I have not heard the governor weigh in on this. The last time I heard from Governor Gordon was that he was in support of it and he was excited that it was being passed. He has been oddly silent.
Now, is there anything that parents out there that see this can do to try to show their support for educational savings accounts, whether that be call their local representative? What do you suggest?
That is such a good question. I don't know that there's a clear pathway for this because it was a judge decision. The legislators are out of it now. I wish that there was context. I wish that there was something that we could lobby against. I mean, for sure, people hearing your voice is so important. So go ahead and email your legislators and representatives. I would suggest emailing Governor Gordon and being and asking him what his plan is to help with these families that are so unfairly right now going through this time when school is supposed to start in less than a month in most places.
Sure. From
Yeah.
a standpoint of the Wyoming Educational Association, uh, do we know exactly what their argument is, or is it in just big picture wise, the educational establishment is traditionally against educational savings accounts, or do you understand their argument in depth? Are they worried about losing jobs for teachers?
So their argument is, I think the number one argument is the constitutionality of this. And that is a big argument. We don't know how this is going to be interpreted by, the Supreme Court. And that's the unfortunate thing. It's all left up to interpretation. Is this money going towards private schools, or is it going to be interpreted as it's following the children and the families? So it's not directly benefiting private institutions. The WEA alleges that these funds are going to do irrefutable harm to the public school because we are taking money that would have otherwise been allocated to the public school system. However, during the legislative session, they changed the funding model from the school funds to the general fund. They are also alleging there's three parents that are in on this lawsuit as well, and they are alleging that this is going to harm their children because private schools will not enroll children with certain disabilities, educational needs, gender preferences, and so they're saying that that is going to be unfairly discriminating against them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, what's your next step? I mean, it's a wait and see, and we don't know.
Oh my goodness, what is my next step? So I am trying my hardest to start a campaign, a scholarship fund. I am trying to help these lower income families who came to my door seeking something different for their kids. I'm trying to raise money as best as I can with my budget shortfall because I still have certified teachers in every single classroom, certified aides in every single classroom that I have to pay, my tuition is the sole covering of all of those funds. And so I'm running a budget deficit. So I'm asking other people to chip in and get these people through this year so we can see the ultimate outcome of this lawsuit.
Mhm. And so if there's anybody out there watching this that would like to financially help you, what can they do?
Yes. Oh, yes, please. So you can reach out to me directly. You can email me. All of that information is on our website, www.academyofthewinds.org. Yeah, just talk to me. We need help because we have a huge amount of low income families right now that are desperate for their kids to come here.
I bet. Okay,
Yeah.
Jenny, is there anything I'm not asking you that you want to point out?
Um, I think that this has been a highly, highly, highly debated thing on social media. And I think, unfortunately, during this time, the private school sector has been a bit villainized, like that we are only accepting kids from a certain class, from a certain race, from a certain standpoint. And that is just not true. We are all playing the same game here. We are trying to educate kids in the best way that we know that kids need to be educated. And I think that the realization needs to be made that the public school is not capable of meeting every single child's needs. We've known this forever that each kid learns differently. And so we need to have a variety of private schools that can meet these kids' needs. And being on social media and hearing and seeing all of these comments about how private schools are unfairly discriminating against that and how we're going to basically impact the public school system in a way that they're going to lose teachers and funding and things like that is just simply false. The narrative around this needs to change. If you're for kids, then you should be for school of choice.
So it would be a good idea for people to do their homework on this before they really come out with any kind of opinion, I gather.
Absolutely. And get to know the school leaders that are running these private schools. You're
Mhm.
going to find that our heart for kids is huge. None of us that I know of are making a huge amount of profit off of this venture. We are simply doing it because we know what's best for kids.
Understood. Okay,
Mhm.
Jenny, thank you so much for
Yep.
speaking to me today. And can you give out your website one more time?
Yes. Yep. It's www.academyofthewinds with an s.org.
.org. Fantastic. Okay, if anybody wants to learn more about what's happening around the state of Wyoming, go to wyliberty.org. Sign up for our newsletter. Thanks again, Jenny.
Thank you.